This is a reminder that this meeting is audio and video recorded, and I'm going to read our vision statement to start the meeting. We're a community of learners known for our unwavering commitment to meeting the needs of all students. Through the adoption of best practices and our active partnership with families and the wider community who are united in supporting the development of engaged, successful, responsible, resilient learners, students will be well prepared to be ethical, empathetic, and contributing citizens. If I could please have you stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. The flag is to the rear. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and I appreciate you all coming tonight. This is the budget hearing for the 2020 fiscal year budget season. Since this is an out of place, unusual meeting, I'm just going to review the budget schedule that's coming up, and we'll handle the traditional chairman's comments at the next full school committee meeting. Tomorrow we have a district communications meeting that will be held in the Raleigh Town Hall at 6:30. On the 4th, we have the first of a set of drop-in sessions that we're testing this year to see how they go, in the hopes that we can open some true Q&A sessions up rather than the hearing, which is literally just us hearing from you. We won't be able to respond to anything that you say tonight. The first one is on the 4th in Raleigh at the library at 10 a.m. The second is on the 5th at Newbury's Library at 11 a.m. And the third one is on the 6th at Salisbury's Library at 1 p.m. Did you want to say something? No. Okay. And then on...
I was saying those in my head. I thought they were backwards, but no. Okay. That's right.
And then on March 6th, we'll be back here in the high school library at 7 p.m. for budget discussions. And then on the 13th, we'll be back here at 7 p.m. in the library as well for the final budget vote and our traditional business meeting for the month of March. I'm going to open this to the introduction of the new high school principal, who we're very glad to welcome.
Yes, so if I could indulge just a few minutes tonight. This is not the typical setting for this type of introduction, but I wanted to take the opportunity to introduce our new principal. Before I ask him to stand up, I also want to take the opportunity to thank Catherine Daw. Catherine has been a long-standing assistant principal and at one point the principal of Triton High School, and she did yeoman's work this year, stepping up as the interim principal for this year. So I want to publicly thank her for everything she has done. And it's her birthday today. Oh. If you had been on time. So with all of that said, I would like to just take the opportunity to introduce Patrick Kelly. If Patrick, you want to stand, you can come sit at the table if you would like, or stand at the microphone, whatever you're more comfortable. Just have him take a few minutes to introduce himself to you. What I would like to say is we conducted a very thorough search this year. There are some who think it could be a much more simplified process. Superintendent goes out, finds the candidates, and makes a lone choice. We had a much more thorough process. We had a parent panel, a faculty and staff panel, an administrator panel. From 26 candidates, the first round candidates, 6 of them came in and spent 3 hours, spent an hour plus with each of those panels. For a second round, 4 finalists, semifinalists came back and spent another hour and a half to 2 hours with a combined panel of parents, faculty and staff, and administrators. And then from that process, 1 candidate emerged. And I'm pleased to say it was Patrick. And from the very beginning, if I were making this choice on my own, Patrick would have been the candidate, and from through the entire process, from the first round individual panels to the combined panel, Patrick was the number 1 choice after the first round. He became the much clearer first choice after the second round. And after that third round, he had an opportunity to come back and spend another 4 hours or so. I met with him, some other individuals, and we had him come and meet with members of the student council, who also confirmed emphatically that he was the right choice for Triton High School. So I'm very excited to introduce you to Patrick Kelly. He is currently the assistant principal at Holliston High School. And as far as the rest of the details, I will hand it over to Patrick to introduce himself.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me here tonight. I'm very excited to be here. I'm very excited to be joining the Triton family. And it does seem from everything I've seen thus far to be a really family-oriented environment. The teaching staff and the faculty that I've got to meet so far seem like they come here and stay here because they love it here, which I think speaks tremendously of the district and of the culture that's already here and in place. I'm really excited to be joining this group, the team of building principals that are here tonight and this evening, the team of educators that are here in the school committee that's here to help guide us moving forward in the work that we do. I have a number of really strong beliefs about teaching and learning and where I see Triton headed, and some of that we'll get to share more of as we go forward, and some of that's going to be shaped and guided by the objectives of our staff and our faculty and where they're at and where they want to see the district move to as well. I believe really strongly in student agency and student voice, building that up in everything that we're doing and finding ways to increase practical learning opportunities for students in the classroom and making those real and tangible for them so that when they're involved in learning opportunities, they're seeing how those learning opportunities translate to the work that they're going to be doing when they leave us. I really believe strongly in the fact that anything we want them to be able to do as functional citizens when they leave, we need to help them practice while they're with us. And so those are all things that I'm really passionate about moving forward and about finding ways that we can push Triton forward in an innovative on an innovative path so that we can see really kind of what the bounds of education are moving forward. I'm very excited to be joining this group, as I've said a couple times now, and I'm just really thankful to be here.
Thank you. Does anyone have any brief questions? This is not an interview. Are there any brief questions before we let Patrick go rejoin the rest of the principals? No.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Patrick. And welcome. I also want to thank the other principals for being here tonight as part of this, the budget hearing process.
Absolutely. So on the committee, we have a saying that I often hear that we are all just one of nine, but really we're one, or nine, I guess I should say. We're 9 of 25,000. There are so many voices in our community that we would hope to hear at nights like this, that we hope will come to the drop-in sessions, that we hope will email us, will call us, and as much as I hate to say us, it will catch us in Market Basket when we're grocery shopping and hold us up for a couple of hours. So thank you all for coming tonight to hopefully put your voices out here. There is a clipboard on the little table that's right in the middle. If you haven't signed up already and would like to speak tonight, please come and sign up on the clipboard. I'm just going to go over very quickly the way tonight's going to work. So it is a public hearing. So basically, it is literally the committee hearing from those of you who would like to speak in front of the committee. It goes on to the record. If you have a written statement, we'd ask that you make a copy of it available to Sandy and Patty over here on the end so that we have an official copy of that to include. The comments should last for no more than 3 minutes, and we will ask you to identify yourselves, both by name and the location where you live, when you come up to the microphone, and I do need you to use that microphone that's right in the middle there. As part of formalizing kind of the 3-minute rule, Maureen is going to be timing. She's got a set of hand signals that I understand she's been working on. So when you have 1 minute left, she's going to give you the 1 minute, and when you're out of time, she's going to give you the stop. So keep your eyes on Maureen while you are speaking. What comes up here tonight is, like I said, it's literally you basically making your statement in front of the committee. We have the opportunity to come back and discuss that as part of the budget discussion on the 6th. So this will basically roll sort of everything that's been going on during this budget process into one final discussion. It'll be the public hearing, obviously. It will be emails that we've received. It will be the drop-in sessions. It's going to be our own personal experiences from people that we've talked to. It's going to be the district communications meetings. It's going to be other meetings that we've sat in on, listened to, watched watched online. All that will sort of come together next Wednesday. Yeah, next Wednesday on the 6th as part of that budget discussion. And then the final budget vote, again, will be on the 13th. That's traditionally mostly a formal vote because the administration has to have the budget prepared for that day. So we're literally sitting with what's going to be the final packet in our hands at that point. So the discussion is going to be done on the 6th, and then the 13th will be the formal vote as well as our regular business meeting. So with that, who's first on the list? Nobody. Okay. Would anyone like to put their name on the list? Oh, come on. All right, Larry's up. I was just going to call you the brave first one, not the guinea pig. Do you have prepared remarks, Larry?
No.
Okay.
Off the cuff.
Stand-up comedy?
Going freestyle.
I did that before. I didn't succeed. They told me to sit down, so I sat down and did all my jokes, and that still didn't work. Anyway, year ago, we were here, and the chairman of 3 of the towns said that they had problems with the budget. The committee decided that let's put it to a vote with the towns. That's fine. The towns approved a basic budget for Triton, 2 of the towns. 2 of the towns, with the override, defeated the budget. The budget still was above what the 2 towns could afford. That's water under the bridge. We talked at the time of fiscal 19 being a bad year. Fiscal 20 would be even worse. We're at fiscal 20, and it's worse. 2 of the towns have said, we can't afford the $1.72 million increase. They've given numbers, Rowley has, as far as what we could afford. I don't know what Salisbury has done, but they basically said they can't afford the $982,000 assessment. You people are elected. You represent the towns. The towns have kind of spoken. The towns have said, we can't afford this every year, year after year. You've got to come up with something better. You've got to start to listen to the townspeople as far as what the towns can afford. I would like to give everything that the town could afford to the schools. But the towns have other needs too. So I hope that when you do your deliberations, you need to take into account what the other sections of the towns can afford and act accordingly. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else up on the list? Brave souls to follow Larry. Not seeing any. Bernie. I feel like this is class now. I need to call on people who have their hand up. Yes. Well, you can sign in afterwards if you want.
Gathering my thoughts.
All right.
Okay, well, I'm Bernie Cullen from Rowley. I have no, unlike Larry, who's on the Finance Committee, I have no official standing with respect to the schools or the overall governance of Rowley. I agree with Larry's statement, but I would add a couple of things. The first is, from my perspective, my personal perspective, I've been at these meetings for the last 3 years, and I've tried to be at almost every meeting I possibly could be at. And from my perspective, the budget process has vastly improved. My perception is that there's much more give and take. And I think with from Brian's perspective and his team, and from Narissa and the school committee, there is an increased willingness to understand where the towns exist. So I think that's a big plus. With respect to this year's budget, I essentially can read the numbers. I mean, I knew that this year was going to be a tough year. We are kind of Rowley benefited greatly from the relative shift of enrollments, and so there's not, from my perspective, there's less for us to genuinely fight for without appearing to be penny pinching. And I think the situation in Rowley is a little more flexible than it was last year. My biggest concern is, A, that the improvements in the overall process, the looking ahead, the starting the process earlier, as early as possible in the year, that there's no backing off of that process. That should be the process going forward, because I think it gives the towns a reasonable shot at kind of communicating effectively with the school committee. My biggest concern is with the next round of contract negotiations, and I think that will determine how problematic the budget will be going forward. This year's, it's done and dusted. There wasn't anything that we could really change. The special education budget is really hard to kind of get behind, and so there's nothing. I could see no way of getting any traction. Coming next time, though, it's going to reflect where you guys end up with the contract, and that, for me, is a big concern for the very reasons that Larry articulated. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Who's next? Buddy? All right. Oh, go for it, Anthony.
Anthony Marinello from Rowley, so we're 3 for 3 on Rowley eyesight. First, wanted to say thank you guys very much for all the time and effort and energy that goes into the budget process. We have 3 towns, but we always have to remember we're one Triton, and that's what's going to get us through and to move us forward. I think as a one Triton, or as a district school, the state is a big part of our issue. The state is a big part of where we cannot get funding. If you look at the numbers here, we go Proposition 2.5, you pull out special ed costing alone, which is 1.59% of that $1.72 million. That leaves us at a 2.61% increase, right? So we're really close to that Prop 2.5. We have mandates that we have to meet. It's not like you guys walk in here and decide, oh, we're going to put this in or that in. This is what the government is dictating to us to do. We need to find a way to better capitalize or better get our legislation to pay attention. We need to find ways to get the State House to bring the funding back to where we are. We're always going to be strapped in the town. There's only so many people in our 3 towns. The money has to come from somewhere. We're paying big money into the state, but we're not necessarily recovering it all the way. So you guys have a tough journey in front of you. Whatever the towns can do how do we engage the people of the towns? We have so little involvement within the district I can count on my hands probably all the volunteers that do everything within a lot of the organizations. So we need to engage, we need to find ways, and we need to get the state to support some of this spending, because special ed's not going down anytime soon. And I don't think our current staff, our current faculty, our current teachers should have to bear the brunt of that. So again, thank you guys very much for your time.
Thank you. All right, Newbury, Salisbury, anybody looking to even up the score here a little bit? I see no takers. Last chance. Going once, going twice. All right, I guess that's it. Can I have a motion to adjourn the hearing, please?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Thank you all for coming tonight. All in favor? All right. I was going to say shortest hearing, I think. Never? I heard that.